And we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Approval of minutes. We have two meeting minutes that we need to approve. January 17th, we'll start with that. Did either of you have, does anybody have any questions or changes needed for the January 17th? No?
Nope.
All right. And then February 7th meeting minutes, any questions or changes to that?
Nope.
All right, those,
I'll move to approve the minutes for both those dates.
thank you.
Second.
Great, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Wonderful. All right, agenda item number 4, we got a public appearance for non-agenda items. No? Okay. So no public appearances. Number 5, the report from the police department.
Hello, everyone. Staffing report, we are currently down 8 positions. We had a recent retirement of a detective. There is some, I brought this up last month, but there is some good news is we only have one more person that's eligible. After that, it drops off to the next person eligible is at least 5 years away. So we're doing good there, and hopefully this will slow down the retirement group. We have out of those 8 vacancies, 1 is in the detective position. We'll be talking about that later, and 7 are in the patrol. We have currently out of the patrol 5 in field training, 3 at the academy, and 1 on restrictive duty, and detective as well on restrictive duty, as well as our lieutenant. So putting the numbers for patrol and investigations, we have a total of 17 unfilled positions currently. Are there any questions regarding our staffing? Okay. The overtime report is pretty self-explanatory if there's any questions. There were total of 40 events. Actually, overall 444, but 40 order-ins. And order-in overtime was 149 hours. Total of the overtime was 924 for the month. Staff vacancies, though, we're still less than we were, believe it or not, in 2023 at this time. Overtime for January of 2024 versus 2023 is higher. And the sworn staffing chart is a little bit off. As I indicated, we have 8 vacancies. And unfilled positions is a total of 17. Are there any questions? That's all I got.
Do you have a question?
No, I was just going to comment. I mean, we've been hearing this data for a while now, right?
Yes.
We even at the community event, we heard that the mentioning of 16 vacancies.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Unfilled positions, 17. We 8 bodies vacant, but you can't. The ones that are at the academy, you can't fill. They're at the academy, and the other ones on field training, they have to work with another officer, senior officer, because they're on field training. So that's basically one position, even though you have 2 officers. That's why the 17 unfilled positions are crucial, and then the other ones are on some type of leave, whether it's medical or family leave.
I guess I do have one question. Just I'm curious on how folks are holding up. What's the morale like?
We're working on. Last week kind of put a damper on them. We're keeping them motivated. I think the staff, and I will say there was a lot of residents from the community that have visited the station and shown their support, and that's powerful for the officers to see that.
And one last thing, Chief, I'd like to just commend you and your staff, your officers, in terms of the composure and the way there were a lot of ugly things being said, right? That's not reflective of Fitchburg Police Department, right? But I was very impressed both nights. The the council meeting here and out at Leopold, in terms of the way your officers carried themselves in the midst of all that mudslinging.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. I think what's even more telling is not so much the negativity, but the support. Seeing you there and seeing others from the community that actually spoke and were present, that are residents of the city of Fitchburg, I think that's powerful, and to show that they were here to support on both days.
And Chief, I think that's important. Brian hinted at it too, that the negativity, the unbelievably uncouth comments were from people who don't live in the city of Fitchburg. And the people of the city of Fitchburg very much appreciate everything that you and the police staff do, that the fire staff do. And I don't think that council meeting, I don't think that meeting at Leopold was indicative of where our community is as a whole. So thank you to you and to all the officers and everything you're doing, and for putting up with what is a disgusting tactic that the opponents of this facility and the opponents of police are taking.
Thank you. Thank you. Those words are meaningful and powerful. Thank you very much.
And I'll piggyback on that and thank you to those who were leading. I know there was a lot of time and a lot of hours, and not just by the police force and the staff, but there was external members that were really pushing for this. And I know there's so much passion and time and energy that went into it. And I think now even having those few people that stopped by to show appreciation, that may be what it's for at the time, and we'll keep moving forward. So,
yes.
And thank you for leading them. I know we've got a great email that said, you're showing us the way as a chief, and we're gonna, keep showing up, and we're gonna keep doing our job and serving the community. So, I think we just wish everybody, can all come together and see the common goal. So we'll keep moving forward as we do, and so thank you.
Thank you.
I think one of the things that I'd like to bring up, having been at that meeting too, is that we don't hear from the people who enjoy what's happening, right? The vocal minority are the people who come out and express their opinions in some very loud and sometimes extreme terms that don't necessarily reflect the reality. So I surely hope that we are able to take into consideration what's best for the community based on those that live in the community.
Thank you, Chief. And with that being said, I think any small little thank you goes a mile to these officers, to the sworn staff, to the support staff, to everybody. It really makes a big difference, because you're right, they don't hear it often. So I know us as a commission, we thank everybody because we see your efforts. So we are here if you need anything. So just keep us informed.
And if I can say one thing, I know is this your last meeting, Joe? Joe, he didn't have to show up last week, and he was there. So thank you very much for helping. He played a big role and helping coordinate the traffic that was coming and going. And Sarah, and even we had Fact TV. I keep forgetting Fact TV because you guys are always behind the scenes. But there were a lot of city staff that did stick around that didn't have to stick around, from our maintenance personnel to, again, the ones that I mentioned, and others who had to partake a small role in the council meeting, but they all supported, we all supported one another, and they supported us during that time. So it really was a team effort from the city staff, and we appreciate that.
That's good. So hopefully that brings us together and closer, and we keep moving forward to the goal as one. So Thank you, everybody. Any other comments or questions about the staffing report? All right. I will move us into closed session then. Pursuant to Section 19.85, subsection 1, subsection C, Wisconsin statutes, the commission will move into closed session for the purpose of considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. More specifically, to approve the promotion of a police officer to detective from the eligibility list.
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Aye.
Aye.
And Tom will not be able to come into closed session because he is on Zoom. So,
Right.
Tom, you would just hang tight and we'll maybe see you when we come out. All righty, welcome back. Do we have any motions coming out of open session or closed session?
I move that the Police and Fire Commission accept Chief Morales' recommendation to promote Police Officer Brett Hammermeister to the position of detective.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, motion passes. Congratulations, detective. That's exciting.
Congratulations.
All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 6. Commissioner O'Day, it looks like he is checked out, so it is us three. All right, report from the fire department. Hi, Chief.
Hello, everyone. So a couple of things. The newsletter was distributed for January. We are in the final stages of our 2023 annual report. Should have that out here hopefully by the end of the week. But a lot of that resembles what we've been reporting over the course of the year. One of the things that we did over the month of January is we invited a nationally acclaimed author and speaker in respect to organizational growth and culture. He also spent the following day with Fitchburg specifically to address things that we're doing well, things that we may need to start doing, and things we need to stop doing based on the opinions of our staff. The way we conducted that meeting is we basically listed that as our rank-free room so that people could feel open to presenting recommendations regardless of how much time they had on the department. What that's going to hopefully do, sort of going to my next point, is as I leave the organization, it might provide a little bit of a roadmap to the next chief and the interim as far as what the department sees in itself and some of the things that we can work on. It also helps out from a recruitment standpoint. So one of the things we did early on with me being here is to address the values of our own organization so that we held ourselves accountable to the way that we see ourselves. So from a core values and a mission statement, everything that you've seen in regards to that is what has been developed organizationally. That's not just something that comes from me. That comes from our firefighters. So as we bring people on, and with every interview process, those things are front and center. One of the questions we ask them is to read it over, and if those words mean something to them, they might be a really good fit within our organization. If they don't, well, maybe this isn't the organization that you want to spend the most time with. So that said, we sort of revisited that with that speaker. This was a two-part process. At the end of last year, there was curriculum that was presented and a book that was distributed throughout our membership as authored by this speaker. And then in early 2024, we were able to speak to much of the content of that book. As far as my message, yes, this is my last meeting. I start with the Village of Menominee Falls next week. And it's been a difficult decision, to say the least. I still get emotional talking about it. We're doing a lot of good things in Fitchburg, and that needs to continue. Good news is we've got some really good people, and we're heading in the right direction. We're just not getting there as fast as we possibly could. The sense of urgency needs to exist, but one step at a time. Operationally, we're responding to more calls than we've ever responded to before. We're setting records, seen as every month. We did identify that Fitchburg is probably it is the fastest growing municipality in the state of Wisconsin, and some of that was based on the attachment of a portion of the town of Madison. But we do have significant development, and the population increases have driven what we're seeing in regards to activity, not only on an operational level from an emergency standpoint, but just getting into what we're doing from prevention and inspection. There's more inspections that need to be done. There's more code enforcement that needs to be accounted for. And as a result, the outreach requires additional time. We generally put a fire safety message in the newsletter just because of the fact that we're talking to the community and we're talking to our own staff through this mechanism. Staffing report, we have been able to put a firefighter on as of last year. There was a firefighter that was approved for this year, but with my departure, that staffing is being evaluated to be able to accommodate an additional command staff position. Not just the fire chief, but hopefully alleviating some of the hours that we're seeing on the officer in charge position. Yes, sir.
Chief, what does it mean to respond to a still alarm? Is that like someone's like home, like an alarm going off on accident, or what does that mean?
Yeah, that's a good question. A still alarm is typically something that we respond to with one, maybe two stations. Sometimes it's a false alarm. A working still would be a structure fire. A still alarm is something that requires an emergency response, but many times it's investigative.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And then from our organizational chart, we've been able to adjust that for the additional Kelly Day firefighter that we're seeing. The mechanism that we've presented in the past, which is obviously going to continually be evaluated with new administration, but as we bring on one firefighter at a time, it makes sense to be able to staff more daytime firefighters. If we bring 3 on, they all go to shift. But that gives us a mechanism to be able to expand our development, or our staffing in a way that's predictable and doesn't overload one shift over the other. And the other thing that really seriously needs to continually be considered is the number of company officers that we have. We still only have 3 company officers for our department. We should bare minimum have 6. And that would address our ability to have our firefighters have somebody to report to predictably. Right now, that's just not happening. In some respects, it overburdens a lieutenant to have 10 to 12 people reporting to that lieutenant. It's outside of the span of control. And then overtime, we did have some overtime over the past month. None of those shifts were mandated, so every one of those was volunteered, but we still had overtime. It speaks to what's happening on the paid on call, paid on premises side, that there's just continually vacancies in those areas, and when there are, our career folks are the ones that have a tendency of stepping up into those positions. It's not to say that we don't necessarily have some of our paid on call, paid on premises folks stepping up. We do. We have them, a number of people picking up hours, but there's only so much that they can pick up before they have to go to either their full-time jobs or address other priorities in their lives. So it gives you an idea of where we're at, and it's typical for this time of year. Actually a little bit lower than it was last year, but on pace for what we've seen in the past.
Chief, can you just kind of explain to everyone, I think this is a great opportunity just to kind of touch on the span of control and what is considered a span of control?
Yeah.
Just so everybody understands what that means in the
Span
fire
of
service.
control is basically how many people one supervisor can effectively manage. And by supervisor, I know that these are terms that have a tendency of sometimes coming into question based on whether somebody's exempt, non-exempt, union, non-union. By supervising, I'm just talking somebody who's leading a crew. Typically, during an emergency, you can effectively manage anywhere from 3, 4, 5 people, depends upon the task that you're accomplishing. In the station, you might be able to effectively manage 6, but to give you some perspective, if we look at many career departments, and the closest fully career department that we have is Madison, they typically have 3 or 4 firefighters that report to 1 lieutenant. And so we're at anywhere from 10 to 12 people who are reporting to 1 lieutenant right now. Our lieutenant is comparable to the police department's sergeant position. So sometimes that's confusion that exists within our industry too, because the police department has a lieutenant, but it's typically 1 step more than our lieutenants. Our lieutenants are company officers. They're first line supervisors or first line leaders. And it's comparable to the sergeant position. And so the police department right now has capacity for anywhere from 8 to 12 sergeants. And it just gives you some idea of the capacity and what they use for span of control typically.
Wonderful, thank you. I just think it's important for everybody to understand that. I understand what that is, but everybody's span of control, they read it differently and interpret it differently, and it's different in the fire service than it may be in a different setting, in an office setting or a typical manager setting. So,
and I'm cautious in my approach. I can understand that when I look at different reference material, a lot of times that has a tendency of being made available through fire department specific type manuals. But even the ICMA, the City Managers Association, recognize what a span of control is and the need for company officers. So I look for a variety of different resources to include corporate management that gives me an idea of what we can effectively expect out of somebody who's leading a crew.
wonderful, thank you very much. All right.
And then we get into just some of the other benchmark or other items of note, birthdays and so forth. And then the last page of that newsletter goes into what had happened in the 2-day culture and leadership seminar that we hosted. And that's all I've got for the report right now, unless there's any questions.
Chief, I'm curious about the feedback that you received from your from the 2-day session from your folks.
So one of the things that, and I'll use the facilitator's comments. One of the things that he said, he's done these all over the United States. And although every organization has things that they think that they need to stop or start, there's things that they need to change. He did say that when he asked our firefighters what they need to keep, every single one of our firefighters, maybe with 1 or 2 exceptions, every single one of our firefighters had something good to say about our organization, and he said that that's really not all that typical. By the time he gets involved, people have other things that they want to bring up other than the good aspects. We can pride ourselves on the fact that our firefighters are truly trying to establish themselves within this profession, and we give them an opportunity to do that. And there was a lot of really good comments. Now, I think one of the things that comes up is part of what we've already talked about, and staffing is one of those things, just making sure that we're addressing what needs to happen. Where are there redundancies in our response? How can we work better with fire and EMS? are just some things. And then I'll take a stab at one of the things that I shared with him, and one of the things that I think personally I need to stop is, it's easy to look into the past and hang on to the things that didn't go so well versus looking into the future and trying to figure out how we can make it better. I mean, those are just examples of things organizationally that we need to do, and I personally can accept some ownership in. And that, I mean, one of the things that we will get out is the actual typed out written worksheet that the facilitator worked off of, and we can share that with you once it's all typed out. But that'll help with the roadmap moving forward.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, well, this is great. And Chief, on the note of it being your last meeting, it's been a pleasure serving with you up here. I think you have just kept us very well informed. You're very transparent. I think they're lucky to have you. You will be missed here. So I know you've started some great traditions and kept us all in loop, so I hope that continues, and we wish you the best.
You're in good hands.
Yes. Wonderful. All right. I know Chief Grossen, do we need to bump, is he in D? Is his, because I know he has a class he has to attend, and I don't know if we need to move him
That's
up.
at 6 o'clock, Chad? Yeah, he's at 6.
Right. Do we want, move D up? So I'd like to make a motion that we move D up and to help, so we can meet Chief Grossen. If that's, do we have to vote on that to move that up, Sarah? All right, so I'll make a motion that we move agenda item 6D up to 6B.
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. All right, so we will switch that. So Chief Grossen. So approval of the mayor's designations for interim fire chief and emergency management director. And do we want to speak on this, or can we just introduce him, I think, right, and be here on?
You want to step up to the...
Yes. Wonderful.
How this works, we don't have this happen very often where we have a fire or police chief vacancy. So the mayor designates an interim until a recruitment is completed, and then the commission can formally approve and appoint someone to that permanent position. So Chief Grossen's here and is going to take that, has been designated as the fire chief in the interim.
Wonderful. Well, welcome, Chief. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me here tonight.
Yes. I know you've been with the department for a long time. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your career?
Yeah, thank you. And hopefully I get to meet with you all individually. And my name's Chad Grossen. I've been with the fire department 31 years. Started off as an intern, went through the intern program, stayed on as a paid on call, and then hired full-time in 1996. I've been serving in half of that in my current position as deputy chief for 15 years. Started off my career in a volunteer department south of here, down in Greene County. I live in Oregon with my wife Gina, who is a nurse, and then 2 children. One's a sophomore in college, the other one's a junior in high school. Just a couple personal things about me. I do have law enforcement experience. I was a police officer at one time, and I'm an Eagle Scout. So, just quickly, I would also like to thank Chief Pulvermacher for his 8 years here serving the city of Fitchburg and his guidance and leadership. There's a lot of good things that were completed in his tenure, and we thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Does anybody have any questions for Chief Grossen?
Yeah, just out of curiosity, you after you were an intern, you left and went to another department and came back.
No, I stayed on the Fitchburg Fire Department.
Okay, the whole 31 years.
I was reclassified to a paid on call, so I had all intentions of, once I was done with my schooling and the internship, to move away, but I had created such strong relationships here that I couldn't leave Fitchburg. So stayed in Fitchburg, got an apartment and worked odd jobs, but have consistently been with Fitchburg Fire for over 31 years.
Okay, you got at what I was actually trying to get at. What kept you here? Why have you been here? You know, and 31 years on the department, and it sounds like a lot of it had to do with good people and work, but also just living in Fitchburg.
Absolutely, it is the relationships that you build in the fire service. Like I said, especially with being in the internship, you live in the firehouses for 2 years, so that's your home. 24/7, 365 for 2 years. So the relationships that you build is huge. And Fitchburg just felt very home to me. I come from a small rural community where I grew up. Actually, I grew up a cheesemaker, actually. My dad's a master cheesemaker. And so everybody asks, how'd you get into firefighting? Well, my dad's been a volunteer firefighter for 52 years. So that's how I got into firefighting. But Fitchburg just felt like home. We're that community that's growing into its own, but the firehouse is right on the edge of rural to your suburban communities. So it just really felt like home to me. And plus, they took a chance on me. I got a lot of good training here on behalf of the Fitchburg Fire Department, and I applied and got my dream job.
I think Chief Grossen this is the goal, right? This is the goal of what we want when we put these systems in place, like the internship program, and it's it's a very well-known program, and it always has been for the 25 years that I've been around in the fire service. And what you've done to stay with a department, right, it's unheard of. But you've done it. We appreciate it. So we're happy to have you. Thank you for not saying no. I don't know if you could, but
yeah, no, and to say that I'm not the only one. There's a number of our members that have been here. They've made Fitchburg Fire Department their career in serving the citizens of the city of Fitchburg.
our turnover is very minimal for our career positions. We fill those roles very fast and very. Once you get that role, that's kind of your golden ticket, and you stick around. So
it's one of the reasons why I value the type of department that we have as a combination department. We truly are identifying the future of the fire service. Unfortunately, we have not been able to provide everyone with a career job, so they get them elsewhere. When we are able to take advantage of it ourselves, and we have over the past couple of years been able to hire some of our own interns and paid-on-call members, there's extreme value in being able to tap from the paid-on-call side. That said, we know that those numbers are harder and harder to find, which is why we have to increase our career side. But hopefully we'll be able to maintain some level of a training department to be able to bring people on, give them the education and the experience that they need in order to be valuable members of the fire service. And selfishly, I hope we get to take advantage of that as the city of Fitchburg. Develop our own. Every day is an interview. You establish work ethic. You can see it applied every day, and you hire the cream of the crop.
I think we're in a growth stage. Obviously, we've been in a growth stage, and so that's always an awkward place to be.
Yeah, for about 50 years.
So we got to catch up a little bit, but wonderful. Well, thank you for coming and saying hi, and we'll see you at a couple more meetings at least, hopefully more. But
yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Anybody else have anything to add? No?
The other part of this, too, is our other deputy chiefs. We have two of them. Rob Coonsey is going to be taking over the emergency management designation. So Joe is the fire chief / emergency management director, so he holds both of those. So rather than Chad Grossen taking on everything, Rob is going to help out with the emergency management.
That's fantastic, because you're running two businesses.
Well,
And
and these guys are still maintaining the roles that they're currently filling.
that they're already
Right.
exceeded their span of control.
So
too.
they're already filling one role, and now I've added something on top of that. Rob also has experience with emergency management through Wisconsin Emergency Management. He's a member of the Southwest Incident Management Team. So it made sense to involve him at that level, given his network.
And he has been here a long time.
Yeah, he's
How
been
many
here,
years?
what, 15 years?
Over 20 years.
20.
Yeah.
20.
Yeah. So we're in good hands during this transition period, and I know you guys have worked very close together, so thank you. So we have, Rob Coons to the Administer Emergency Management responsibilities. And yeah, is there any other questions or anything else we need to add? This is more of an announcement. Just make it official. So, all right, well, Chief's off to a class now. He's worked 8 to 5, 7 to 5, 8 to 5?
7 to 5.
7 to 5, and came here to join
But
us.
we're always training. So
Always training, yep. And so he's heading to another class. So thank you very much.
thank you.
Yes.
Nice to
Thank
meet
you, Chief.
And we'll still need an approval, a motion to approve
Oh,
the
we
mayor's
do.
designation.
Okay, all right. I will make that approval that, or I'll make that motion that we approve the mayor's designations for interim fire chief and emergency management director. Any questions or discussions?
A second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Welcome. All right. So we're going to hop back up to the closed session here. I'll take us into closed session. And pursuant to section 19.85, subsection 1, subsection C, Wisconsin statutes, the commission will move into closed session for the purpose of considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation of any public employee which over the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, more specifically to notice the commission of the resignation of the fire chief and emergency management director and 1 paid-on-call firefighter, and to remove the probationary status of 3 firefighters. Any second? Second. All right.
Second.
All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? No. We'll go into closed session. Nice. Good. All right. Back in open session. Do we have any motions from closed session?
Yes. I would like to make a motion that we remove the probationary status of 2 firefighters into remove probationary status to full-time career firefighter.
All right. So the motion is to remove probationary status from 2 full-time career firefighters. Do I have any discussion or questions? None? Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Welcome to the full-time career status. That's fantastic. So that's 18 months they served as on probation. So we're excited to have them. So that's great. Any other motions coming out of closed session?
The intern.
I can do that. All right. I
Go
can do
ahead.
that. Yep. I will make a motion that we remove probationary status from an internship position.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nope. Motion moves. All right. Congratulations. Again, another 18 months for their internship program. He will finish his internship, but no longer on probationary status. So, welcome. All right. Any other discussions or anything from the fire department?
Yeah, I have one more thing, and I apologize, I was going to bring it up here. We did have the intern applications and interviews that were due. We did interviews this last weekend. We had, and I have to pull it up here. Tell you how many people we had. I mean, it's only computers, so they'll take slow. They'll be slow when I need them to be fast. So. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 11 people we had interview on Sunday. We have 3 vacancies, and we're inviting 4 right now to participate in ride-alongs and to have an interview with the chief. That should be done by next week. So one of the things we may be asking for is a special meeting, because we know of 2 other departments that have internship applications out right now, and we'd like to get in front of them and potentially hire these top candidates. So we're working on those ride-alongs and the chief's interviews, and like I said, I think all of them are scheduled, and they'll be done before next week. So whatever
great.
we're able to do to work that out with you and with Sarah, we'd like to expedite that whenever possible.
Fantastic. We'll be on the look for that. Thank you for doing that. How many applications did we get for internship?
We
position?
interviewed them all, so
Oh,
11.
Good. All right. No, that's
There might
fantastic.
have been one person that didn't accept an interview date, but with high school kids, we try to interview them all.
Good.
And we give them all an opportunity to do a ride-along so that they have that exposure. Many of these kids are already participating in the Next Gen program at Madison College. So it's one of the places where we go to recruit, to make sure that we have people that are interested, who have already expressed some desire in learning more because of the fact that they're in programs already. And then because of the fact that we have some of our firefighters that are instructors at Madison College, we can take a look and see who's performing and who's really excited about what they're doing. That helps us out. Every day's an interview.
Every day is, yes. No, that's great. Any questions about the internship applications? We'll be on the look for that. Chief, again, for everybody out there who just kind of tuned in, this is the chief's last meeting. So Chief, thank you again for all of your efforts and all of your commitment and dedication. I know when you told me the amount of hours you worked, and you never wanted it to be an accolade or a pat on your back, and it was just you were devoted and you wanted to improve, and you saw a possibility to do that. So you will be missed. Thank you very much for your service.
And I'll miss Fitchburg.
Yes. We'll still be here. You can come back.
Yeah, all right, I will.
Can you come back? What is there a rule?
I'll take you up on it.
I feel like there's a rule. Yeah.
I'll at least visit.
All right.
And then Scott, I'll use my microphone.
No, thank you. All right. So announcements, agenda item 7, announcements, staff contact committee commission guide. We have a guide in the agenda packet that speaks on. This guide was requested to be included in the agenda packet for all committee and commission meetings for your review and any questions you may have. This was designated to assist the staff contact with their role and responsibilities. I think it's something that, to the public, to Fitchburg, as community members, this stuff isn't privy to just us. This info is on our website, and you can, read through these minutes. You can see what is being approved. You can see what discussions are happening. And in order to make changes, we have to be informed. So I appreciate this. Thank you for including us, and thank you for including it to the public. I think this is a great resource to have. Any discussion or questions about this guide or anything to add to that, Sarah? No. I think it's just a great, just show the transparency that Fitchburg does have, and we are trying to open the doors and welcome conversations and discussions, and these are tools to use for it. So, if no other questions or discussions, I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? All right, meeting adjourned.